Hey there! Time flies. Many years have passed since the last World War II guns fell silent. But a lot of unexploded munitions and bodies of dead soldiers still lie in the ground. We can only guess how many more years dangerous objects and weapons will be found here and there. In this video, we've got a few stories about the incredible World War II finds made by search teams and individual diggers. Let's cut right to the chase. A German ship. A lot of ships and submarines lie beneath the sea. Most of them went down during the World War II. The search expeditions find sunken ships around the world every year. Divers of the Underwater Research Center of the Russian Geographical Society found the T-31 destroyer belonging to the German Navy, which sank on the June 20, 1944, in the Gulf of Finland near the island of Narva. The wreck rests at a depth of 53 meters. As members of the search party stated, the hull of the ship was very well preserved, although it was broken into two identical parts, located at a considerable distance due to the force of the blast. The historical background is this. During the battle, a detachment of boats of Senior Lieutenant Taronenko and Lieutenant Bushuev took the T-31 and T-30 destroyers into pincers. All the command of the Third Reich wrote, the Russian boats maneuvered so quickly that we couldn't even aim our weapons for a shot. This victory, during which the German destroyer T-31 went down as a result of a torpedo hit, and the T-30 fled from the battlefield, was a major milestone. Thanks to it, the Soviet troops were able to land on the shore and take a position in the offensive operation in Vyborg. As the searchers said, they were able to restore the appearance of the ship and pick up a lot of artifacts from the destroyer. A binocular, which, despite being underwater for a long time, was very well preserved, two signal flares and many other items. After the restoration, all the raised artifacts will be transferred to the museum for display. The place of death of the T-31 will be marked on sea maps as a danger to navigation and most likely will be recognized as a sea burial, since 82 German sailors died and their remains still lie on the seabed. The rest of the crew members were rescued by Soviet ships. Return of a pilot. In the Tosnitsky district of the Leningrad region, members of a search party took out the completely preserved remains of a Soviet 22-year-old pilot Sergei Fadeev from a swamp near the village of Pishanka. The pilot went missing 77 years ago. His plane was shot down near Leningrad. The fighter, together with the pilot, fell into the swamp, where Fadeev's body was literally embalmed. Fighter pilot Sergei Fadeev took off on March 20, 1943, on an American-made P-40 Tomahawk aircraft. He accompanied the Il-2 attack aircraft. They attacked enemy positions near the village of Ulyanka. The operation was successful, but suddenly two German fighters appeared. In the air battle, both Soviet planes were shot down. The first pilot escaped by parachute, and the second one, Sergei Fadeev, crashed into the swamp along with the plane. Fadeev's fighter was pierced with bullets and shells from the tail to the engine. This conclusion was made by the traces of holes on the fragments found. One of the shells exploded in the cockpit, and the pilot was killed by shrapnel in the air. Then the aircraft caught fire and went into a dive. The crash site was discovered accidentally during the search operations. The identity of the pilot was established by the numbers on the aircraft fuselage. When the body was taken out, the searchers were amazed at the condition of the remains. He looked as if an airplane had just crashed. The searchers said that the body was embalmed after lying in the aircraft oil and fuel in the absence of oxygen. They also found the personal belongings. A medallion was lying in a breeches pocket, probably with a picture of a pilot's beloved one. Unfortunately, the image hadn't survived. There also was a pocket address book with his friend's contacts and tobacco wrapped in newspaper in the pocket of the flight suit. The date was preserved on a newspaper fragment, March 18, 1943. With the help of volunteers, Fadeev's relatives were found in a week, children of his brother who also fought on the fronts during the war. They live in Nizhny Novgorod, the homeland of Sergei Fadeev. Heroic pilot Fadeev was buried at the memorial cemetery in his homeland. A parcel with guns. 3 well-preserved German World War II machine guns were found in a parcel sent from Latvia by employees of the Polish State Tax Administration. The package was supposed to be delivered to the UK. The MG-34 machine guns were delivered by a courier. The parcel was at the carrier's office when the customs officers found it. The package aroused interest because there was no information in the documents declaring its contents. After examining the weapons, it turned out that the machine guns were dug up at the World War II battlefield and are no longer suitable for shooting, but can only be used as museum exhibits. On January 25, 2020, children played in the building of the Brest Fortress, where the first battle between the Red Army and the German troops took place. The boy said that he was walking with his friends in a fortress on the ramparts of the Kobrin fortification. On the mount, the guys came across an object sticking out the sand. It turned out to be an old gun. The boy brought it home and his mother took it to the police. The find was a German Walther Lute Pistolet 1934 signal pistol. The weapon was in a very good condition. This find was discovered by a worker when dismantling an old building. In the attic of the house, a bundle with 2 guns inside was found. He reported the find to the police. In a survey of the former residence, it was not possible to find out to whom this weapon could belong. During the examination, it was possible to establish that one of the pistols is the Hungarian Femaru M37 9mm caliber 1937 model. The second gun is a German Browning caliber 6.35mm 1906. More recently, when repairing the floor of an old house in Poland, 2 antique pistols were found. The police is trying to find out who they belonged to and how they got there. Judging by the rust, these 2 revolvers lay in a cache for a long time. They were fully loaded. One was an Austrian-made Restengasse M1898. The second looked like a pocket bulldog-type revolver. That's all for today. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel and keep abreast of the new interesting finds.